Hey guys, this is Jill and I have a process video for you today featuring the Citrus Bliss line from Pink Paislee. I started using a cut shop cut file and I backed each of those individual little circles with a paper from the 6x6 Pink Paislee Citrus Bliss notepad or paper pad. It's a tongue twister to say Citrus Bliss by Pink Paislee. So if I stumble talking, trying to explain myself, please just ignore me. It's it's too much of a tongue twister. Okay, so I backed each of those little circles, which are like a little fruit. Such a cute idea for this cut file from the cut shop. And I backed each little circle and glued this down to a 12 by 12 sheet of Pink Paislee paper from the same line. And then I'm doing just a little bit of mixed media over the top just to give a little bit of variation, and I'm putting this only behind where the photo is going to go. I used 5 colors from Shimmers. This is a mix of colorings and vibes, and I just did the packaging technique that everybody's seen before and did some smushing, dried all of that, and then added some little drops for color variation over the top. So I'm dabbing everything up as I go. If you've watched my videos, you've seen that I splatter and then I dab and I splatter and I dab and I heat and I dab and I splatter and I heat and over and over and over again until I'm satisfied with the way that it looks. And I think I went back with every single color that I used and splattered. This is a really toned down version of spray inking on my page compared to normal. I really debated whether or not I was going to use the spray inks. And if you've watched any of Missy Whidden's videos, she does a lot of this where she'll put the spray inks over a cut file that she's backed, and I love the result that it gives, so I decided just to go for it. And this is a little photo of my girly. She was outside watering, and the way she was standing, it was hot out, and she had on a little summer dress and then her winter boots that have a bright pink zipper up the back. For some reason, it caught me, and I knew that the blue would look good with the blue in this collection, and then the bright pink is also in the collection. And I'll be honest, I started with the cut file. That was my inspiration. I wanted to use this cut file really bad. I just bought it from the cut shop, and I just wanted to find a photo that would work with it. And that's honestly how I start a lot of the times. There's something that I want to work with, and then I find a photo that will go with that. So a lot of times that's my process. The title is going to be Fancy Pants, and the word fancy is part of that Citrus Bliss line. And then the pants are some foam thickers that I think that were from an older Amy Tangerine line. And I wanted them to really pop against all this color. And this was another thing I debated. Do I do the pink? Do I do a yellow? Do I do an orange? I ended up going with the pink because right in that area where I was placing the title, I didn't have a lot of pink. So I thought that Shimmers Pretty in Pink would look really good right there. And with a thin font like this where it's cursive, and then I used skinny, tall thickers, those can get lost on a big, busy background, kind of like this one. And they kind of do a little, I'll be honest, they do kind of get lost. However, I think that when you're looking at the layout in person, it pops a lot more, especially because the word fancy is glittery. So on camera, it's hard to tell. So in putting together this page, I started by backing my photo with tissue paper as per usual. And then I used a few of the blue papers, and then I used one that was white with gray text, and backed my photos with that. So here in a sec, you're going to see me get really ticked off about my thread not wanting to play nice on this page. I ended up scrapping it, and honestly, I don't think this page needed it. There's so many pops of color all over this page with each of those little sections on the cut file being backed with different papers. I don't think that the string really would have stood out anyway, so it's right here that I start to get mad. I really wanted it behind that ampersand that I had sprayed. Didn't work. So to back up a little bit, you saw me using the spray inks on these wood veneers, and I love doing that. I used to heat emboss all my wood veneer, but then the company started coming out with these etched wood veneers, and so then I would lose a lot of the detail. And finally I realized, hey, if I use the spray inks, kind of dab it off, heat dry it, I'm getting color, but I'm not losing any of the detail of the etching. So get your spray inks out. I know that the shimmer spray inks work great on the wood veneer. I have a bunch of other Mr. Huey's inks, and I have not used those. They're completely different formulation from the Shimmers brand. So I don't know how those would work on the wood veneer, but I can guarantee you that you will not be disappointed with how the Shimmers reacts to the wood veneer. And I mean, gosh, look how great it looks on the thickers. So for sure try that. And to finish the page, I'm going to add, excuse me, a few more little embellishments from that Citrus Bliss line. When we received this last year, I loved it, and I wanted to do so much with it. And I'd have to say, a year ago compared to where I am now as far as scrapbooking, I'm completely in a different place. I feel like I finally figured out what works for me with scrapping. As a year ago, I was still really trying to figure that out. So I had difficulty using this line a year ago, but now I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing, I feel confident in the choices I make with my pages. Now I can bust out a page with this awesome line, and I'm super pleased with the results. Before, I think I was just a little confused on kind of who I was as a scrapper. Now I know. And there is the final shot. And I want to say thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.